Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Leland. It is Thursday. It is 9:30. I know I switched my time to 9 because I have other obligations, but let's start this show.
Welcome to Level Up Academy podcast, where we explore the diverse set of skills that can be applied across various industries and professions. Each episode will deep dive into the world of transferable skills, discussing topics like communication, problem solving, critical thinking, and more. Join us as we speak with experts in different fields and share stories of individuals who have successfully transferred their skills from one industry to another. Whether you're a recent grad, a mid-career professional, or someone looking to make a career change, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's discover how you can leverage your existing skills to excel in any industry. Welcome to Level Up Academy podcast. This is your host, Dr. Leland, a serial educator, an opportunities designer, and a compassionate leader. Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work.
Okay, before I show my face, I wanted to share a couple of things. A lot of people are asking me, like, oh my God, how long did it take you to do all of these things? Honestly, guys, except for one book here, The Values, Leadership, and Culture, which is I can't believe I could say that, but over a decade ago, I got my doctorate, right? And everything that you see here and more, I couldn't fit all of them. Actually, I accomplished in 12 months. 12 months. I did everything from magazines to books to number one best-selling author in an international because of Miss Lee. I leveled up. And you're probably wondering, well, why do you want to brag about yourself? No, I'm not bragging about myself. I'm trying to establish that authority. And here's the thing. You see that top down below, this says 50 inspirational connections, but down below that says, I'm leveraging my accomplishments to level up my community. If anybody who knows me, that's what I am doing. So my question to you is, what do you use your accomplishments for? Mine is to level up my community. And today, my guest, right, Troy Holt does the same thing, leveling up his community through empowering financial education. I know he's going to talk a lot more about it, so I'm not going to actually tell you more about what he does, because that would be the end of the conversation, isn't it? Hi, everybody. If you missed my daughter last night, it is on YouTube, so you can check it out. She did live performance. That was her first performance for LinkedIn. She performed a lot in public since she was little. She creates her own songs. Music saved her life for sure. During pandemic, it's been a difficult road for her, and yeah, music saved her life for sure. Just like some people, art saves your life, or the form of writing saves your life. The way you can't express in certain situation, but you can express your emotions and your whole self through writing. That is my daughter. So she is in Spotify. If you look it up, it's Angelina Zarola. And I think her first song is called Bad Brew. My kids love the 30s. They're in love with Elvis. Okay, good thing he's not alive anymore, because literally my kids would live in front of Elvis's house. They love the blues. They love Led Zeppelin. They love rock. That's their dad. I like hip hop. Okay. And I love some country music, but I love hip hop. I love pop, but I love good music as well. With especially like the Bee Gees and the Journey. So if you're my students in my class, that's the kind of music I usually play to get you going, right? I get your blood flowing and dancing. Anyhow, I had a bad experience today in the audio room and it triggered me a little bit in the emotional side. So I wanted to address it though, because I don't like keeping things in and I like to share it with my community. Because if I'm feeling that way, I don't want you to feel that way if you are on the comment section and you don't see your comments highlighted in here. Okay. There is definitely something going on with LinkedIn and they need to fix that. I felt silence today. I've never felt like that since I was a kid. And that feeling is not a good feeling. I felt so many negative emotions going through my head. I know the people in that room who controls that room, and I know that they're not that people, but that simple act triggered me back to my childhood, and I hated that feeling. And I felt so angry, and I wanted to cry and scream at the same time. But it's technology, right? But I also wanted to get that pain and tell you that if you are one of my listeners here or on my audio room on Fridays and Nicole and I's audio room, well, now it's Nicole's audio room on Sundays at 7 a.m. I apologize if you feel silence, if you feel triggered, if you feel that I'm not listening to you or I'm not highlighting your messages. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, apologize. That's not who I am. I just wanted to put it out there because I never want you to feel the way I feel today. I'm pretty emotional right now. I was pretty pissed off. Let's just say that. I was really, when I go to your audio rooms and I raise my hand, I actually want to support you. But feeling silence is not one of my forte. But I know the people in that room didn't mean to do that. It's just that act itself was triggering, and I did not like that feeling at all. So I just wanted to apologize to my people who are in the comment section who's actually wanting to participate in all of the aspects. But enough of that. I'm going to show you a couple of things because my screen is not doing it. So I'm hoping you guys can see what I'm seeing. Level Up Academy, really quickly. That is my audio room. This is the one that is someone actually, my girlfriend said, definitely you're more than 70 nations and countries listening to you now, and definitely still 6 continents because the penguin is not signing up. I need 7 continents. I swear to you, one of these days I'm gonna go and fly, okay, to Antarctica just to get 7 continents. But we are in 70 nations and countries. That was like 2 months ago. I haven't really checked, so I will definitely check. So these are like the heat pattern where we are. My website, I do free workshop. Usually it's gonna be the end of the month. This month, it's gonna be July 31st because I have a class coming up and I'm super busy. If you are a guest or if you are interested on all the past guests that I have, I always elevate my community here, community member and connections. You can go to my YouTube. That's my handle at Lua by Doc Leland. That means Level Up Academy. Okay. It actually is for higher education. And you're like, what do you mean? Because it started that way. Just go with me here. Okay. All my lives is in there. So all the past people that I've had here is going to be there. I have some shorts, videos. I create videos for my students to make your life easier. Okay, so if you're trying to do certificates and you have 100 attendees, don't be typing it individually. There's called bulk create in Canva. I have created that video. Okay, there's so many videos that I've created in there for my students that are even unlisted, but the ones that are there, please do check it out. LA Weekly, I've already listed that, right? LA Weekly is a big deal because they have so many readers. That means that my 50 Inspirational Connections nominations are already rolling. Tomorrow at 12 p.m. PST, it will come out. This is the 2nd episode, guys. The 1st episode was last week. And you can see that. You can see that on my YouTube as well. And this is to highlight 50 inspirational connections that I have. Okay. Shout out DFW. Again, these are magazines that my website is actually highlighted. And you're like, why are you showing me this? I'm showing you this is because if you are listed on my website to collaborate with me, whether it's through workshop, through whatever, your SEO goes up. That means your exposure goes up. Okay. On FeedSpot, I'm so Baby Boomer. I'm an expert there, and my podcast that goes to audio. If you're here and I pick your podcast to go on audio, you also go to babyboomer.org. I don't know how many members they have. I think 500,000. On top of all the 16 distribution channels that I have. I went up today. Oh my God. I went to 29. I'm on a top 30 on FeedSpot. Again, more exposure for my people because I level you up, right? These are some of the distribution channels that you can hear my audio room. This is the 2 books that you already know. Mr. Lee, I love you even if you're not watching here. This is the recent birthday gift that I got to be amongst the amazing authors, 29 authors, okay, did an anthology and we hit #1 international best-selling author on the weekend. What? I'm so proud of them. But it wouldn't be happening without all the team that's in there. Miss Elise, our publisher, she works hard on doing the marketing. My sister Nicole, hello. Boom. Look at the book. Look at the graphics. She did 29 memes. This girl is like magic. Okay. She's probably at work anyway. But look at this is my sister Nicole. So if you need a content writer, if you need a ghostwriter, if you need a graphics for your YouTube banner, for your Facebook, for whatever you need, okay, hit my girl up right there. My sis will do it for you. An affordable price too, by the way, because she loves solopreneurs. Her audio room, guys, okay, it is at 7 a.m. PST. I know it's early. I'm there, okay, 10 a.m. EST and 9 a.m. CST. And really, we just look at life. We make sure that the audio room is inclusive and people feel welcome there, right? My sister Christine, if you have a child or if you have a teacher who needs support from K to 12, go ahead and connect with her. Amazing. 30, she said 29 plus, but she's been there 30 years as a K to 12 teacher. That is a commitment. And because of that commitment, my sister Christine is creating so many waves and so many books to support. She's working on like an autism book. She's working on her book of creating harmony in the classroom. Like, hello. Susanna, my sister, her story is so amazing. If you have not connected with her, follow her, connect with her because she's an amazing human and you will learn a thing or two about moving beyond boxes, right? Because we all are. My sister Natalie, look at the books that she creates. And you know what I love about her? Because she tells me that I can actually be an artist because I can doodle, even if my circle is like a little off. So I love you, sister. She's working hard right now on another project. And these are my creatives group, guys. We belong to just the creatives group. I have belonged to a lot of group, but I highlight this group because they're like my emotional support when I'm going through crazy times, okay? I'm an only child. I don't have brothers and sisters. So if I call you a brother and a sister, that means a lot to me. Whether it means a lot to you, it means a lot to me, for sure. Now, speaking of classes, now the master class that I'm creating, so let's say that you already have a YouTube channel. You're like, I don't need your class. You already have a podcast, right? But ask yourself, are you really streamlining yourself the way you should be, right? I mean, I went from 0 in 12 months to 70 nations and countries. Don't you want to know what I would give you? I will give you support. So this class is all about solopreneur. If you are a business owner, solopreneur, and you want to know how do I take my community to elevate them into the next level to level up, you got to pay to play, right? And my class is coming up on August 1st. And basically it's a project based. It's not one of those classes that you learn theory and then you go away and you're like, I don't remember what I learned. No. Every single week 1, you will learn how to do podcasting, like live streaming. How do you do live stream? You're going to learn which audio room that you should be. I'm going to give you a different aspects of different kinds of podcast rooms out there that I've tried. I've tried a lot, but I only used one because of the streamline process. I don't got time. I don't know about you, but I don't got time to play around. But I do love a good foundation. So I've done all the research so you don't have to. And then I'll give you options. Which podcast should you go and which live stream software should you use and why, right? That's week 1. By week 1, by the end of week 1, you will have your own live stream if you don't already have one. And if you already have one, I will teach you a thing or two on how to streamline it to make it look professional. So maybe you can monetize it for other friends or also other businesses out there who wants to sponsor your podcast or show. Second week, we're going to streamline your YouTube channel. If you already have one, look at your subscribers. Are you growing? Right? If you're not growing, something is up. We could do something with that. Maybe your banner, whatever it is. Week 2, we're going to do YouTube. Week 3, we're going to do LinkedIn optimization. I look at your profile. I looked at everything. Then we're going to create a business page for you if you have a business, right? And I'm working on that. So everything is done because we're busy. Everything is on a micro learning level, meaning you watch no more than 5-minute video at a time so that your brain can function. There's a lot of technical stuff going on in this class, but I make it for the non-technical user. So it's friendly. It's easy to follow. You can pause me. You can eat your chocolate, drink your wine, whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, on Saturday, I will have a live Zoom to all my students. And this is very limited. I can only accept 25 students and that's it. Because I want to give you the time of the day to answer your questions live. And it's going to be only us live, not live stream or nothing or YouTube. It's just us in class on Zoom on Saturday morning so that you can have your attention and questions that you have. But this is a project-based class. It's not a theory class. You will get a live stream. You will get a podcast. You will get a LinkedIn. You just need to ask and show up. Okay, so if you need more information, that is the link. I also will be opening my club. It's an invite-only club, and it is monthly or annually. But that will have lots of classes for all the solopreneurs, right? If your superpower is just to basically do financial education, but you don't know how to do bookkeeping, you don't know if you should open an LLC or a solopreneur, you don't know how to do your billable hours, you don't know micro and macroeconomics, and you'd like to know, I will have those courses there for you. I've been teaching for 10 years, guys, okay? And I continue this. I have 4 degrees, and it's going to be 5 soon if I get in. So that is why I use my superpower and all my knowledge to level up my community this way. If you need more info on anything that you want to know what I'm projects or what I'm working on, just go to sleekbio.com/Lua because everything I put in there, okay? Today, actually, in about 40 minutes, my brother Mike, Hounds of Business Community Town Hall, he'd like to tell you what Hounds of Business is all about. If you have never heard of us, well, you should. This is the link that you can check us out. I won't be able to be there because I still will have my show, but this is the link. And just say, hey, I don't know what's going on here, but my sister from another mother, CJ, sent me here. That is the link, guys. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to at least copy that, hoping that my brother Mike has the link here so you could just click on the link. And then my last thing, okay, is July 27th. All 4 live streamers, okay? Soaring Profit, Brilliant Bee Media, Raquel's Corner, and Level Up. That's me. We're going to eat chicken wings. Let's just say that one of these 4 is going to be bowing down on the lowest level degree of hot spiciness. So basically, you see this purple tongue right here on the right side. Those sauces is what we're going to use, and we're going to eat chicken wings live to you guys, and then see a reaction. I'm going to have milk and ranch for sure next to me because one of these is Carolina hat. I don't know if you guys know about the hotness of thing for purple tongue or anything in the hotness, but yeah. And if you want to watch us and join us, please do buy this through the link up there, purpletonguehotsauce.com. All right. Well, enough of that because I do have somebody here special. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? I don't know if my guest is ready. He looks ready. He's like, are you ever going to shut up? You?
I am well, Dr. CJ. How are you?
Good. I talk a lot, don't I? But I like to elevate my community, and I want them to be abreast of what's happening in my life and how I level up my community. So Tell me, how was your morning so far?
Pretty good. But first of all, I want to say thank you for the connection. Thank you for allowing me to be here. And also thank you for what you're doing to elevate people. But my morning is going great.
Ooh, party time. We're talking about empowering financials, and people are like,
Yes.
I don't want to go see the financials. Guys, money is not something that you should shy away from. I know that we're lack of for sure,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Definitely.
But how, people like money is evil and guns is evil and all this, these are just tools. Having the knowledge and the ability to use the right tools for the right purposes is what makes it a difference, don't you think?
Agreed. I mean, to your point, you said it's a tool. So money can either be your servant or your master. And if it becomes your master, you're the tool, but you want to make money as your tool and use it to take care of your family, but also to serve and bless others. And so we just have to realize that, like you said, it's a tool.
Yep, it is. And it's not something that you should shy away from. Now, let's go ahead and start and ask you this question. Think back 20 years ago and find within your timeline some of the significant changes in your life that got you here where you are today. You're so passionate about educating women on finance, right? So, how
Yeah.
did that come about? When was that born?
Well, it wasn't anything that I just decided to do. One day I woke up and say, "Hey, I want to concentrate on women." But what I found out was most of I would say probably about 95 of my clients are women. And so what ended up happening was, I would look at my book of business and see uh, 95% of them women. They have reached out to me. They will say, "Hey, Troy, look, I got a family. I have children. I need some help. Can you help me?" And it just evolved in that. And then I started doing a lot of research and statistics and seeing where, women, especially in America, they're underpaid. They end up living longer than men. They're the biggest demographic of poverty. And I wanted to change that and help make a difference in that. And so that's kind of how it evolved and how I became my focus or my niche on helping women.
Now, from your experience, how long have you been doing this, by the way?
23 years.
Wow, that's amazing, Troy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
Can you walk me through your approach? Oops, Troy just went away. So maybe his internet got him. Hopefully, he'll come back, guys, because this is a great conversation we're having in terms of finance. I do want to highlight Dina. Thank you so much for being here. Nicole, sister, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I think we got Troy back. Did we have Troy back? I think we have Troy back. Okay, hold on one second. Let's see. Hold on one second. We're trying to get Troy back in. Let me. My mouse decided to die on you, Troy, so I can't get you back in. I don't know if you can hear me. Let's put him back in. Hi, Dina. Hi, Amber. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I see you in there. Sending love. Yes, definitely. Yes. Hopefully you saw her last night, but if not, she's on YouTube as well. Let's put Troy back. There you are.
Good old technology.
I know it is what it is. So go ahead and continue your thoughts on that.
And I got I have a birthday coming up. So what was I saying?
You were saying about why you started, helping women specifically because of the difference in the stats.
Yeah, because of the stats. So here's some stats that people don't realize. You know, in America, you know, for every dollar that a white male makes, a white female makes 82 cents on the dollar. A black female makes 68 cents on the high end and 58 cents on the low end. And so black women, they are some of the most educated women in America, but they carry the most student loan debt, but they get to pay the least. So overall, women just in general get paid less than men, and women many times can do the same job and sometimes the job better than men. And so they don't get the title, they don't get the promotion, they don't get the appreciation or the pay or compensation many times, and it's not fair. And so I'm an advocate and I'm a support, you know, of women to be able to push and support them to be able to, you know, help. And the reason why women many times are they get paid less because they are the ones that when we have children, when us man want our wives to have children, they the ones will take off with them and be with them. Not every woman, I'm saying that, but majority of them. And then if there's a sick one in a family and someone needs to take off and be a caretaker, many times it's the women that does that. So that affects their promotion, that affects their pay, and so we need to recognize that. I think you froze. I don't know if it's me or you.
I never saw their hands raised. They let me know through DMs. It's been glitching for 2 weeks. Oh, Amber, thanks for letting me know that. Yeah, I know these people are not like that. So the only thing is that I think she called me halfway and then she stopped. So I know that she saw me, but she just called me halfway and she stopped. So that's when I knew, like, she sees me, but she's not seeing me. So I don't know what she sees on her other end. But yeah, that was definitely what's happening. Mr. Lee, yes. Hi, Troy. Are you back?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but this is my next question. How can individuals develop a strong financial foundation to achieve their long-term goals?
Great question. So one of the things that we do is I teach people the 7 money milestones. And the 7 money milestones is basically a blueprint of getting a person from the bottom to the top, or from here from A to B to C to D to F. And so there's 7 steps to this 7 money milestones. And this is from a personal finance perspective. So the first step is a person need to get a financial education. I tell people, read books, YouTube, but be careful, because there is a lot of misinformation out there and disinformation out there. So be careful. But first of all, start, just general educating yourself, but also get with a financial professional that they trust. So that's the first step, getting a financial education. Number 2 is to set of proper protection. And what that means is make sure a person has protections in place in the event if they have a disability or if they pass. Make sure there's proper protections there. Number 3 is to have a emergency fund. In America, I think the number says 39% in America don't have $400 to cover a major emergency. So have an emergency fund. Step number 4 is debt management. Debt is an all-time high in America. Student loan debt, credit card debt. So managing the debt is number 4. Number 5 is to create cash flow. Now that create cash flow could be making some adjustments, and if they're a W-2 employee, making some adjustments there. It could be a side hustle, a side business. It could be reducing expenses, so increasing cash flow. Number 6 is once we've done all that, we're going to start building the wealth, and then number 7 is protecting the wealth. Protecting the wealth. I don't know if you are aware. Aretha Franklin's estate is back in the news because the siblings are arguing over the will because there was no estate set up. So number 7 is protecting the will, or protecting the estate with the wills and trust. Everybody doesn't need a trust, but that's a case by case basis if it's needed. But setting those things up to make sure those 7 money milestones that people are protected. And so those one of the things that we try to walk people through. And a lot of that, Dr. CJ, is not overnight. Each one of those steps, I tell people like this, Dr. CJ. Now, excuse the terminology that I'm about to use. So I tell people, I said, when you work with me, it's not a one-night stand. It's a long-term relationship. So I want people to know, it's just not, we implement something and then I disappear. No, if I start, when you're young, you got a baby, I want to be the one that you send me some pictures when they graduate from college. That's the type of relationship I want to have.
Oh, that is so cool. I can't believe you said that, but that's actually really fun. Like, I'm not a one-night stander.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so funny that you said that. I love that you're putting these terms into women and really think about it, because you're right. When family dies, no one ever thinks like, oh, this is going to cost me $50,000 to bury someone. Where are you going to get $50,000?
Correct. Yeah, and that's a big issue. People don't have a will and they don't have protection in place, and many times it's a burden on the family because sometimes people have to have a GoFundMe and different things like that, and it puts a burden on the family. And I tell people, it's easier to come up with $50 than $15,000 or $20,000, and so sometimes covering that expense is as little as $50 a month. Now it varies for person depending on a lot of factors, but I'm just throwing a number out there. It's easier to get $50 a month than $15,000.
Yeah. So here, my mother-in-law died September. It's $50,000. And it's not an elaborate one. Nope. Yeah. From beginning to end. I mean, the land is like what, 15,000 itself? Land. Okay. Like,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, California housing is expensive. No, land, like little tiny land. I'm like, Jesus, what if you don't have? It's just so crazy how everything is about money. And you know what really irks me are the people who's helping you figure things out. Are so callous and cold, and they're all about selling you like, oh, what about adding 10 more thousand for this, and they literally charge us for money for I think like $600 for 2 trays of chocolate chip cookies and 2 kinds of desserts. I think it was cheesecake that were cut in little tiny pieces for $600. No, I'm just saying, and you're already grieving, so you just say yes.
Correct. Right. And that's the point I was going to say is your emotions can cloud your judgment. So you're emotional there because you're grieving. So they know that. And we buy on emotion and we justify on logic. So we actually buy on emotion, but we justify it with logic. And so when that happens, then people need to be very careful when they go in there, because they know that, and they're going to offer you, sales. They're sales people. They're going to offer you the top, the best, and I'm not saying people are necessarily manipulating your emotions, but they can, and you have to be aware of that. And so I've been in a predicament when my mom passed. I wasn't emotional. I knew, what I went in there, and I really wanted to make sure. I didn't get taken advantage of when we didn't. My brother had a little bit different idea, but I was I knew what we wanted to pay, and so but when you have family members too, you got to consider them.
Yeah, and especially if you have a lot of siblings, right? And then when your grandma dies, like all the other people you've never seen before, never knew before, like when my grandfather died. It was so funny because we saw that he had a different family that we didn't know he had.
Right. Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, what? Who are you? And, he already married like 4 times, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't know there was a 5th one in there.
Oh,
like,
wow.
that sneaked up. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, you know what I mean? So
Dr. CJ, he was a Rolling Stone. Papa was a Rolling Stone, that old song.
Oh, man. But I was like, how did that happen? And my grandma's like, your grandpa, he got busy. And I was like, I guess so. But it's just so funny how family, and in most Asian countries, there's no such thing as loan. You either have cash or you're going to be burnt, right?
Yeah.
And,
Right.
Because Philippines is a Catholic country, there's no way you're going to get burned. You're going to get buried one way or another. I don't know where or how, but you're going to get buried, right? It's just, oh my God, it's crazy how you talk about these things, but this is reality.
Correct.
And such a financial burden for people when there's family dying. It's morbid to talk about it, but it's reality.
True.
Right?
True.
You don't want to talk about it, but you should, because you're actually leaving a burden on your family, and it's not fair to carry on $30,000 of debt that they probably can't even pay 20,000 of that,
Correct.
What are some common misconceptions about investing, and how can our listeners avoid falling into these traps? Like, there's a lot of investing, bear market, all this conversation.
Yeah. So I will say this by disclaimer. First of all, I think it was Amber said women are born nurturers, so I agree. And shout out to my friend MacArthur who's listening on Facebook. But one of the things my lane is more on the insurance side rather than the investment side. That's what transparency's sake. So I want to make sure people understand that. In the past, I was licensed for in investment, but I'm not. But anyway, so one of the things that I want to talk about to this point is, most people think that they can't afford to invest. So the simple tip that a person can do, and I'm not just saying just start out investing, is to pay yourself first. Most people don't pay themselves first. So why? Because when you start paying yourself first, so most people, they pay all their bills, and then what's left over, they pay themselves. Now, me, I'm a little bit different. I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian. So I take out God's, and then I'll pay myself first, and then everything else come first. Everything else comes second. And so by paying yourself first, what are you doing? You're creating a discipline. It doesn't matter what the amount is. If it's $1 or if it's $10, it doesn't amount. People get caught up on the amount. It could be 1%, it could be 10%. But if you can't save $1, then you definitely can't save $10. So you have to start somewhere. So if you start somewhere, and then every time you get paid or obtain money, start paying yourself first, that money accumulate. And then it's two things: it's a mindset and it's a discipline. And then you get to a habit that you set aside this money, and then you can move that money into investment. Because the rule of investment is, number one, if you can't afford to lose it, then don't invest it. And rule number two is go back to rule number one. So if you can't afford to lose it, don't invest it. And that's a Warren Buffett a rule, who's a billionaire. And so many people, if they just start little, it's the little seeds. It's not the big things, and many people want to wait till they get big, but start small and start little, and eventually it'll grow to be big.
I like that. Yeah. Maybe like instead of going to Starbucks 15 million times a week, maybe do it 3 times a week.
Correct. Yeah, correct. But if you start, so a couple of apps I recommend people to get, and this is for station identification break. Okay, Dr. CJ, I'm being funny here, but number one, there's an app called Mint, mint.com. Download that app. It's a free app, and you can track your spending.
Is it MINT?
Correct, mint.com. You can download that app. You can also do it on the computer, but you can track your spending. And once you start evaluating your spending and looking where you spend money, sometimes it's frightening because you don't pay attention to those Starbucks. And you start to say, I spent $400 this month on Starbucks. And then you be like, oh, I need to take that back. So mint.com is one that I would recommend. And then another one is privacy.com. It's another free app. So privacy.com, what I like about privacy.com is, you know how you purchase something and it say free trial?
Yeah.
Then you forget about it and then your card get dinged. Well, privacy.com is, so basically you create a virtual card. Now your bank account is connected to it, but you create a virtual card, but you can set the amount up. So let's say it's free trial, and after free trial is $29.99 a month. So you put the virtual card from privacy.com in there. And so you set it at payment at $15. So when that free trial comes up, it's not enough money on that card to charge, and then you'll get an email saying, hey, your card was trying to be charged, it was declined. And so that way you keep from those free trials from eating you up. And also sometimes you can call and get them to refund the charge, but that's time. So privacy.com is another one I like, and they're both free.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I don't know if I want to share that with my husband because he's going to think like, oh, because, okay, so my dumb A said, oh, honey, I know how to figure out in Amazon in Excel format. They have this report to track down how much money we spent in a year. And my husband's like, oh, okay, let me check you out. I'm like, no, let's check you out first. He's like, no. And I said, fine. I got in trouble.
Okay.
I got in trouble. To my defense, it was during COVID. Okay.
Okay.
My defense. So we're gonna let it go. But
yeah.
I don't know if I want to share any app with him tracking my whatever's spending for sure.
Well, I would say this too, Dr. CJ, eating out and stuff like that. If you're not tracking it, like you said, the Starbucks and stuff like that, I mean, it could be huge. I remember, oh man, I hate to say this, but during the time of pandemic, and it was November. I looked at my wife and I what we spent, and this was groceries. You know, it was Thanksgiving month. You know how you buy food for Thanksgiving, and then it was height of the pandemic, so we were door dashing and stuff. It was $1,200 in food and stuff. I'm like, what? I said, that's ridiculous. I said, that was just too much. And so that's why I said like mint.com and those things like that allow you to track it. That blew our budget out of the water. So our budget is around about 500 and we're talking about 1,200, but you know, door dashing, Thanksgiving and just regular food. So please.
I would be so embarrassed to look at my food at home because I stopped cooking at home and baking at home.
Okay.
And over the weekend I spent half of that just on the weekend for my birthday. So I was like, oh, that's bad.
Right.
But this is good strategy though.
Yeah.
For people to really, you need to take accountability for your own financial education, right? And like most people don't want to think about it, but they like to complain about it. Like, I don't have enough money. Well, you don't have enough money because you don't know where your money's going, right?
Right. True.
Mine is going to Amazon. Where's yours going?
So was Amazon Prime? Did it go a lot to Amazon Prime Day?
Yeah.
I seen, Dr. CJ, I seen somebody put a meme on one of my ex coworkers, and it says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you don't need to buy anything on Amazon Prime. And he said I needed to hear that.
I know they're not saving you money. It's more
right.
like a marketing thing, right? They're not
True. Yes.
In your brain, you're like, ooh, I saved $2.
Right. Right. Oh, you know what I thought about too when we were talking about when you have a funeral, and another thing that people don't realize that like you got the cheesecake and the cookies. People don't realize that even like riding in the limousine, all that's extra. And so some of that you could save, riding your own car. Now I'm not telling people what they need to do, but
stop. Okay, I'm a visual. Okay, imagine me shoving in my car. Oh my God! Wait,
no, I'm not talking about the hearse. I'm talking about the limousine.
Okay, I was like,
yeah.
Stop.
No, I'm talking about the limousine that people sometimes ride in the car that's following the hearse.
Oh no, you're walking. That's like, just walk, okay? Like you need to exercise anyway.
Right.
COVID, like that's what I tell my people.
Right, but all that's extra, and so people don't understand that sometimes, and they're going to talk about that, and they're going to say, well, your family member, they deserve this and all that, and they're going to talk a good game and blow it all up, and then once 6 months later, once your grieving has eased some, you be like,
a little bit,
yeah. Why did I spend all this money on that? Yeah, and so that happens a lot of times.
Yeah, and you have to have an advocate during that time, and I was my husband's advocate, like because he keeps saying, yeah.
Oh yeah, you
like
do.
He didn't really, he didn't really think about it. It's just so much. I do want to talk about days, and I know that you already talked a little bit about practical strategies for budgeting and saving money. What are other things that you would tell your clients? Like, how do you save money? So we talked about food. We talked about Starbucks.
Yeah.
What are other things? Oh, I like the saving money thing because I think my sisters and I are putting like $10 to our trip to see each other. Next year.
Yeah, some other things that I recommend everybody to have is two things. So I recommend them having life insurance. We talked about that a little bit, and you have different types. You have term and you have permanent. And the difference between the two, term is like renting a home, permanent is like owning a home. Term means temporary or period, permanent means your whole life. Then term is like there's no equity or cash built. Permanent, you can build equity or cash. Term is less expensive, and permanent tend to cost more, but you do build that equity and cash. So I recommend people having life insurance. Also, those that are working for a job, a W-2 employees, my recommendation when you talk to people, well, I have insurance on my job. So my next question I'll ask is, so what happens, Dr. CJ, if you that job or you're voluntary or involuntary, no longer working there, and then you're 10 years older and you have health issues. So many times people don't understand that having what they have on the job is fine, but that 10 years later, then you got health issues and you're older, so insurance is going to cost you more because of your age. So you want to always have whatever they offer on the job, but most of the time you're renting it, because the first question you should ask when you get hired on as the job and you're doing your benefits is this life insurance portable? Can I take it with me if I leave the job? And then secondly, you want to have your own because you control it. You're not renting it, you own it. So you want to have your own. And the best time to buy the life insurance is when you don't need it.
Right.
Because you can afford it and you're insurable. Now, number two is disability. So I recommend people looking into disability. Many people have it on their jobs, sometimes short-term and long-term, but especially business owners, because disability, if you get sick or you can't, or you have an illness or you have an accident and you can't work, then you need to have something to bring in income when you're out. But now business owners, especially if they have a brick and mortar, they should have what they call BOE, business overhead expense. So business owners can have a disability for themselves to pay themselves for as a salary or income. And then business overhead is a separate policy, but it allows them to pay the rent and pay utilities and pay those type of expenses in the event if they are out and they can't work, and especially if they're solopreneur, that their business can still have operating expenses. So that's important. So those are some things that I highly recommend people to have.
So let me ask you, do you still practice? Oh, you said you're not licensed anymore, right?
I'm not licensed on the investment side. I'm licensed on the insurance side, not the investment side.
So if you're a solopreneur out there, guys, I think you're gonna need to come to maybe I'm gonna ask you to collaborate. Maybe at the end of the month, if I don't know what you're doing, we're doing Asking Live. July 31st is a Monday. I don't know what you're doing, but maybe you should do a workshop for an hour for all the solopreneurs that I have.
Okay.
Because we need to know what kind of insurance should we buy as a solopreneur that we can afford.
Yeah, right. And it's all about, like you said, it's all about affordability for people to have, there's a saying, it's what we need, what we want, and what we can afford. So there's three options: what we need, what we want, and what we can afford. And sometimes, a lot of times, is what we can afford. But at least we have something.
Yeah, I think that's a great information that we need as a solopreneur. I'm always looking to elevate my community, and my community too, because it's nice to have an advisor. Who knows what they're talking about, and if we need to buy insurance, why go somewhere else when you're right there? You know what I mean? Like, hello, you know. And we only buy from people we trust, because there's so many people right now. I got DM from someone. They got upset because I didn't buy their service, and I said, first of all, don't get upset. Secondly, why are you offering feedback without, if I'm not asking you for feedback, that's criticism. Okay, first of all.
Right.
Secondly, I don't buy from people telling me, oh, you're good at this, but you need my services because of this, this, and this. That's kind of snidey and a little bit have an attitude. I'm like, who asked you? And when you're born? Seriously, and I'm like, don't do that. That's how I'm feeling. And I just replied and said, hey, no, thank you, but I only buy from people I know. And he's like, well, is that what you do all the time in the store? I'm like, yeah. The first time, usually when I go to a restaurant, they know me. By now, because I go to the same restaurant and I get the same food. And she's like, do you go to a lot of restaurants? I'm like, yeah, and they know me. But
you went to the store.
Yeah,
you went to the store, and it wasn't the store came to you. See, and that's the point. So I had somebody DM me today about buying their book, and I think we're in a group together. I don't know the person. Let me say this. Can I say this? I want to say this.
Go for it.
We're both on LinkedIn, and we use LinkedIn heavily. So those that are listening into this this live, please do not pitch slap people in their DMs. Now, I want to say this. So imagine this. You have a headache, and you go to the doctor, and then the doctor pulls out his prescription pad, and then he writes you a prescription for metformin. Now, metformin is a diabetic medication. You're going to say, hey, doc, wait, hold up. You ain't even asked me what's wrong with me, what's hurting, or how long it's been hurting, or where the pain is. You just prescribed for me and haven't diagnosed. And so many people do that on LinkedIn. They commit sales malpractice. What a doctor's called medical malpractice. They commit sales malpractice because they do not diagnose. They just pitch slap their products or services and don't know if a person needs it. And sometimes people, we're in the same services. So that means they hadn't read the profile, they hadn't diagnosed, they hadn't asked questions: who, what, when, where, why, and how. So please don't do that. Once a month, Dr. CJ, I'll post about that sales malpractice, because I get frustrated because I keep getting these DMs.
I know, and here's the thing. What I really I get a kick out of it now, because they always say oh, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours. I'm like, girl, you have not looked at my YouTube.
Right.
Because I'm over that. Okay. It's like, oh, this message was meant for somebody else. Of course it was. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
somebody said in the comments, my dumb A podcast says, and then they keep doing it.
Oh, hey, Lonnie. That's my sister. Yeah. And then they keep doing it. Yeah. And they just keep coming. And they
Yeah.
just keep coming. And I was like, you know what? Why are you guys doing that? And I can't really argue because that's the thing that's their livelihood. And some of these people are young people. I don't want to put them on a mood like, oh my God, these people are so rude. Old people are blah, blah, blah. The founders are blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do that. Right. But,
Yeah.
But if you caught me on a bad day, I get a little snidey. I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
you know, because I get like 10 million DMs like,
Yeah.
you need this. I'm like, you know, and my response is sarcastic sometimes. I need $1,000 today. Do you have it?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I've done a couple things. So one thing, some people I've tried to help. You know, I said, look, a couple of people I say, hey, look, let's get on a one-on-one. Let me give you some help, some strategies. I'll be willing to show you a better way, better approach. With the crypto type people, they just keep on going. They don't listen. I said, look, you're not listening. You haven't heard what I said because you keep trying to pitch me, and I'm trying to help you. Some other people I have just turned around and then offer what I offer. Because you trying to pitch me, so I'm just gonna come back with, so do you know anybody who needs retirement? You know, because you're trying to pitch me, and you didn't get to know me, so either I'm gonna run you off or run you away. One person pitched me, and I told them this, and they really ran. I said, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Have you been baptized in Jesus' name and filled with the Holy Ghost? They ran away. My Dumb A podcast said I asked one guy to help me out and he ghosted. I'm a clown, Dr. CJ, so I joke and have fun. So
I love it. I love it. We are in the same boat. I was like, go for it. You know, like whatever. This is your show as much as mine.
Yeah.
No, but I do want to get this. Okay, this is my last question. If this is your last day today on this earth, what would be your parting message to your current and future families in terms of like living life, legacy, and impact?
Wow, I love this question because so first of all, I'll say I didn't coin this, but this has become my mantra. When I was young, I was chasing success. And as I got older, I'm chasing significance. And I would tell my family that whatever you do things to represent Christ and also do things to make an impact. Whatever you can do to make an impact. So here's my philosophy. Relationships over revenue, people over profits, and impact over income. And I would tell them to incorporate that in their life because money can come and go, but a legacy of impact can last for generation and generation. And we know generational money can last, but I'm just saying, when you make a profound impact, for example, Dr. Martin Luther King, profound impact. He's going on for decades about him and what he's done, and it will continue to go on. You can't pay that. Money can't buy that, and so do things that money can't buy to make an impact. And sometimes those things can be one small act of kindness. Someone could be on the verge of committing suicide, and you could do one small act of kindness, change that person's life forever by that one small act of kindness. And that's what I would.
You're speaking my language, and I'm so glad you said that, because this podcast actually continued because of that one email I got that she was thinking of committing suicide, actually herself and her son, she said, because she's in Afghanistan and she been married since she was 13, and her husband left for the war in Ukraine because he's part Ukrainian. She felt abandoned and lost because that's her whole life. And I don't know how, but she got to listen to my first episode about my life and then the second episode about my student. And she said from that episode, she was compelled to stand up for herself. And she said, I'm going to go back to school.
Okay.
And emailed me and she said, thank you. I was really contemplating on just
Mhm.
ending it because I didn't see anything that I could do anything at all.
Mhm.
And education was one thing that she said she wanted to do. And that
Yeah.
right there, when you said be kind and be compassionate, we don't know who we're helping. But
True.
just because our heart is in the right place and the right
True.
time, and you're consistently showing up for other
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
we're a servant leader,
Yeah.
we're doing good, even if it's
Yeah.
one person at a time.
One person at a time. And one of the things that I do, and I know you got to cut off, just one of the things I do, and I don't publicize it so people know. So, and especially on my Facebook. So, whoever I'm connected to on Facebook, I could not even know them personally. They may have a death in the family, and they may post a picture of that loved one, and I'll reach out to them and just offer my prayer and condolences privately, and then I'll ask for their mailing address, and I'll create a personalized card. And if they put the picture on there, I'll put the picture in the card, and I'll send the card, to them just to encourage them, because I know that they're hurting, they're grieving. And then also what I've done this the last year or so. So I've designed it now to follow up. So in 90 days, they'll get another card letting them know that we're still thinking about them. They're still in our prayers. They get another one at 6 months, and then they get another one after a year, because many times when the death is over and the repast and all that is done, people live their life and they're alone. But I wanted somebody to know that somebody's still thinking about them.
That's so nice. That's so kind. That is so kind. That's the kindest thing I've ever heard, actually. That's so kind. Thank you so much for doing that for your community. I
You're welcome.
appreciate you.
You're
That's
welcome.
what I do, is level up. And when I
Yep, level
see
up. Yep.
right, when I see a fellow soul leveling up that way, thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. What's my title on my LinkedIn?
Let's take a look at what your title, because I just got your LinkedIn. Okay, I was on your LinkedIn. I was like, okay, what is this thing? Because I want you guys to connect with him. It says your title that I see, though, it says educating professional women and women business owners on how to build wealth and eliminate taxes, right? And then I have CFEI. I don't even know what that registered means for a CFEI. What is that?
Oh, that's certified financial educator instructor. But my title should stay on. It should stay on there somewhere. CEO, Chief Encouragement Officer.
Oh, I don't see. Oh, you have to go all the way down. I see. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, I don't see that. Where are you
Okay.
putting that, mother?
Yeah, I hadn't looked at it in a while. It should be on there. But anyway, that's my title. But I tell people the Chief Encouragement Officer is the title. As a CEO is the title of my company. My title is my personality. That's my personality. Chief Encouragement.
My personality is level up. Let's go, level up. That's my personality. I wear it all day, all night, for sure. Well, go ahead and stay off on that stage. I will be right there with you. Please don't leave. And I'll be right there. So, guys, if you wanted to make sure, okay, I'm going to have Troy actually come into my community and teach us as a solopreneur on the type of insurance that you can actually buy if you're a business owner and you're doing it alone, and the options that you can do it at an affordable price, right? There's always a price for everything. You have to pay to play, for sure. But this is a free informational. You also get a certificate at the end of the webinar. Okay, so you missed it last month. That's okay. You can go to luabyduckleland.com, and then that will be July 31st. We haven't set up a time yet, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching another episode of Level Up Academy today, brought to you by your none other host, Dr. Leland. Please do not forget to hit subscribe or push that notification bell, so anything that we have an activity on at Level Up Academy, you will be the first one to know. If you would like to be a guest in our podcast, both on the MP3, audio only, and also here on live in our YouTube channel, please let me know. DM me. Let's connect. Have a fantabulous day.